A few positions are behind wide receiver, without many returning players there, I would say, or the ones that are returning being injured. So we're trying to catch, those guys are trying to catch up. They're kind of controlling the pace right now. But Taysom, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line, that part is picked up much to where they left off. Defensively, some players to replace, but more depth at defensive line than what we've had in quite some time. A few position changes, but I really like the combination of Alani Fua and Bronson Kafusi at outside backer. That looked good today. And then Trenton Trammell looked really good at corner. And so he and Rob Daniel, with the addition of the freshman Michael Shelton, we look more athletic at corner than we have for a while. So those are my first impressions.
Bronco, how comfortable are you with your depth at quarterback behind Taysom?
It's a concern. Christian Stewart, we know who he is, we know what he can do, and now just execution-wise, how proficient can he be in demonstrating in spring practice, and so that will tell us a lot how comfortable I am. But who he is and what his knowledge of the offense is, all those things are right on. Now he just needs to have to demonstrate the capability of moving the football against our defense this spring, and I think I'll do better.
What are you seeing from the offensive line?
First of all, a little bit more depth than what we've had in spring, so I like that. And then some experienced players. We did move Tuni Kanuch to guard from nose tackle, and that's made a nice difference inside. We're really physical. He's strong there, so I like that. It's almost like having a junior college player come in at guard, so I like that. And then a freshman off of his mission, Louis Lapuaho, I liked him a lot today too. So 2 new faces on the offensive front, and then we got Jordan Black back, and that was good to have him there.
What do you hope to accomplish over the course of the next 5 weeks?
Man, quite a bit. So I would say if we're looking at our program, what we have to improve, our ability to protect and throw and catch the football effectively and consistently. So our pass game has to catch up to the run game, which I think it will. We've done a lot of self-scout and self-analysis that way. I'd like to see our focus on our blue zone scoring, so our tight area close to the goal line. I'd like to see us get better in that. We won't be as personnel specific yet because we won't have all of our people till fall, but we've got some concepts we really like there. Inside linebacker, we need to establish some depth at that position, and then get a lot of work for the depth at D-line, but just get more of those guys work off their missions. So depth in some parts, some offensive focus in terms of catching the football, passing and protection, so our pass game and red zone and blue zone scoring. And then defensively, just becoming the next version of what we normally are.
If you've got health in the fall, how would you assess the potential of your secondary as a group, knowing what you know personnel-wise?
We could be really athletic when you talk now about Jordan Johnson coming back also, in addition to both Trent and Rob. With Craig Bills back, that could be a nice secondary in terms of athleticism and coverage ability. And then we've been impressed with Kai Nakua as a safety and his athleticism. And so it doesn't take long before you have about 6 players there that could be pretty dynamic. Then you add the outside backers, not only that we have now with Alani and Bronson, and the incoming guys that we've recruited. We look pretty athletic then on the perimeters and in the back end.
Is Dallin playing in the fall, or is he Levitt?
Yes.
Is he going to be a safety for you?
Right now, scheduled to be a safety because we just added more depth at corner.
Last year you talked a lot about establishing a culture of go hard, go fast, and you didn't bring that up just now. Are you satisfied? Have you kind of reached that?
I like a lot where that is, and so I guess it tells you just by not bringing it up that it just has become so commonplace that what the intent is now is not to sacrifice efficiency or specificity for the pace, it's to add those things to the pace. And so that would be the next focus if I were to maybe summarize all that stuff I said at the beginning personnel-wise. Now it's to go fast with now some specificity and a little bit more efficiency for where we were a year ago. And especially against the better opponents, scoring more points in those games. And I think those things tie together.
With having more of the offense of the building, are there more possibilities for Taysom to make a change if you see some difference when he lines up?
A lot of our offense right now, there are run-pass options anyway, and so there's so much built in right now that's already run-pass oriented or adjustable based on what he sees that I don't see that really increasing because it's so much of what we do already.
So who's your place kicker in the fall?
That's a great question.
I'll follow up with a different position.
That'd be
then.
Long snap.
Braden Kearsley, I didn't see him out there today. Is he?
Academics. So there's a number of players, and he comes right to mind, and I'll draw a blank on anyone else. But until there's at least a minimum threshold that I feel comfortable spring ball wise, then there is in practice.
Is your kicker coming in the summer, maybe?
I hope so.
Any newcomers that we might not know about?
Not that I can think of.
We saw Zach Stout out there. Can you tell us how he made it back? And
Man, so Zach, that seems like a long time. So when Zach left, he's coming back as a walk-on without his scholarship to re-earn it. He's not only qualified credits-wise, he's been taking classes, but also ecclesiastically and standards-wise, he's met everything the Dean of Students asked him to do, and so it's fun that he's done all that and battled to get back. And now, hopefully he'll re-earn his scholarship through the fall, and then it'll be a complete happy ending.
Bronco, what about your wide receiver core and the opportunity for new guys or young guys to get some experience this spring with Ross and Mitch out?
The two that are going to get just worn out, Nick Kurtz is here as a junior college player, and now Michael Davis, who moved over from corner to the original position we recruited him. Those two today just got tons and tons and tons of work, which is great. Before we get Mitch Matthews back, before we get Ross Oppo back, before we get our two other junior college / transfer players coming in the fall. So that could look like the secondary in the fall. It doesn't right now, though.
What were your impressions of Skinny Bronson?
Skinny Bronson is, I like him. And when you look to throw the ball to wherever he is, standing back where I was at the quarterback, you don't see much on the other side of Skinny Bronson when you think wingspan and et cetera. So, yeah.
Taysom told us he worked with John Beck a little bit. And have you seen improvement from him in just the short time you did with him?
Yeah, so Coach Beck and Jason Beck, our quarterback coach, and John Beck have taken obviously a real interest this offseason in not only helping him in warm-up routines in terms of protocol, but also anticipation, where the ball's delivered, when it's delivered, and things that can maybe make him more proficient. So much of what we ask him to do, because of his body, is run-oriented. And so the next phase of this whole thing offensively, to make it more dynamic, then is to add the throw game to it. And so we've added that a ton. Hopefully that won't diminish his ability to run with it, which I don't think it will.
If Alani could borrow 20 of Bronson's pounds and split it up at the outside, would you be okay with that?
That would be kind of scary, yeah. We have time till fall. So, in fact, he's taking that as a personal challenge. He told me is that he's calling it the Rebel 20.
What's your take on this rule? They're calling it the Saban rule, proposed the 10-second rule.
I'm not for it. I don't think it has any impact on player safety. I don't think there's any research that substantiates that. I think that there's a strong argument for the teams that like the offensive players all jammed together. There's more chance of injury being more jammed together than all spread out. And so I think there's a trade-off there. If I saw research that was different, I might change my mind. I think it's just one way for some of those that have some things that others don't to try to prevent a different type of game or warfare to neutralize the playing field, and I don't like it.
Anything else? Is Corey Edwards a kicker coming in this summer?
That is our kicker coming in this summer. That was kind of a trivia.
Okay, good.
That's media trivia for.